Hi everybody, this is DRAWninjaKC here once again. Today we're going to be drawing legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. Now this is not the BROLY from the movie that's out now that's getting such rave reviews. This is the previous BROLY, which I think was more of a savage than this BROLY. But that's up for debate. Let me know what you think, which BROLY was better, the current movie BROLY or the legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. Anyway, my phone goes off. This thing goes off when I'm in the middle of introduction. What's going on here? Legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. Let's go. Okay, let's get started with the legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. This was actually on suggestion from one of my subscribers who thought it would be a good idea to see me draw the legendary Super Saiyan BROLY. I started out with the head. Usually I would start out shaping out the body, just the whole drawing. But for some reason with the Dragon Ball Z characters, I like starting out with the head because I think like the head is like the most complicated part of drawing a Dragon Ball Z character. You can basically recognize what character is what character by the shape of their face. Past that, their eyes, nose, and mouths are usually the same. But BROLY has like a nice kind of long chin, whereas Goku would have like a more square jawed, I guess, or a more shorter chin, not a long chin. He doesn't have a square jaw. He has a pointed chin, but it's shorter than BROLY's. And then once I do that, I get into the shaping out of the body using basic shapes, and especially I had to make sure that I got his sash or whatever he wears. Had to get that right because the Super Saiyan the legendary Super Saiyan BROLY has a different sash than like the new movie BROLY. So, and there's also a difference with the necklace that he wears around his neck. So everybody recognizes that this is the legendary Super Saiyan BROLY based on the sash and that necklace he's wearing. So you have to make sure that those things are definitely, in the drawing are definitely poignant. So once I do the sketch of the drawing, I put those on and I pay a little bit more attention to them because they do differentiate the character from the current movie character. That and the fact that this BROLY also is much older, so he has more like lines on his face and things like that. So I also wanted to get that in there. And also with just kind of solidifying the body type, BROLY has, especially when he's in like Super Saiyan or he turns into a Super Saiyan God or what have you, his body just gets so massive. And it's very, I think in the whole Dragon Ball series, he's the only one that has such a massive body. I remember playing him on the Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 3 video game against my son, and I was always choosing BROLY because like he's so massive, and it was the only chance I had against my son in Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 3. So, but yeah. So once I started to kind of like deepen the lines, define more of where I want the shadows to go or where I want the details to go, as much details as can be put in. I decided to work more on the sash, which I think on this drawing has the most detail because it has a lot of folds and shadows and different lighting and darkening effects. Like the underside of the sash would be darker because the light is coming from the top. So I wanted to make sure that was in there, and I think this was the most detailed part of the drawing, and also the most poignant to differentiate this BROLY from the current movie BROLY. I like this BROLY better though. I think he's more massive and just more visceral in his appearance and in his abilities and so on and so forth. So I had to put that in the drawing. And his hair was massive. I went a little crazy with his hair. That's one of the things about the Dragon Ball Z whole franchise and so on. Like the hair is like everything. So you got to get the hair right, man. Everybody, like, you got to get the hair right. Okay, so I spent a little time on the folds of the hair, and based on the source material that I was using to make sure that his hair was being done justice. But I think I put his hair a little bigger because I did want his hair to balance out the fact that his body was so huge. So I made his hair a little bigger, and it worked out. It worked out very well because if that hair was too small, it would just look weird because his body was so massive. So I really enjoyed the fact that they're making the hair just a little bit more crazy than usual. Made it, at least for me, made it look a little better. So now I'm going into, after laying down the pencils, I'm gonna go and start inking it. And inking Dragon Ball Z characters, again, I really appreciate the simplicity of it because there aren't many details and crazy shadowing and shading that can be done when you're doing a line drawing of Dragon Ball Z characters. And I kind of like the cartoon. I kind of like sketched the lines in his face a little bit so they can appear a little rough, like the cartoon drawings. So those were it was pretty nice to do and to see the effect. But things like the hair, I was very straight with the lines. But with the Dragon Ball Z characters, like I said, when you're doing a line drawing like that, less is more, and you're getting a lot more out of just doing the one lines because you're leaving a lot of room for the coloring, and because the Dragon Ball Z characters, they're always getting angry and changing, and there's a light show. There's always a light show every time somebody powers up, so I think that allows the animators and the artists to just go crazy with the lighting effects. So if they do less like line detail, then they have more room to do a lot of crazy effects and things, which I can appreciate. So, and you'll appreciate too once I start shading this, you'll see how just drawing this particular character with lines works out so much for when I start embellishing it with the already there pencils and plus adding some ebony pencil shading to it. Right now I'm using a brush nib pen to work on his pants and his robe or sash or whatever that is. We'll call it his pants. And just like hitting the really dark areas with it because I'm going to use the ebony pencil to kind of shade those and make them a little bit more gradient, so that it looks like it is. So it looks like it is a like three-dimensional feel, like you can just go in and touch it. So it'll add a little bit of realism to the drawing once I start to shade it. But I wanted to get the blacks in, the darks in first, so I can know where to work from. And with the pencils that are already on the face, I'm taking the stub, a stump, the stub or stump to kind of shade in some of the shadows that's on his face. As you can see, I'm just kind of making that a little bit more three-dimensional looking. The shadows and the lights, I'm highlighting certain parts by darkening certain parts. And then now going in on the hair. Like I said, the hair is everything in like this Dragon Ball Z franchise, man. And so I'm going in with the hair with the ebony pencil, and the ebony pencils are darker than the regular pencils, so, and they're great for doing portraits. But I'm hitting all the nice shadowed areas with the ebony pencil, and then I'm going with the stump to shade it in and make it each clump of hair look more textured and more three-dimensional, so you can get the feeling that the drawing is kind of jumping out at you through the page. So getting the hair right was important, so I wanted to start with that. And once I get that right, I think the flow would just go to the rest of the body. So I wanted to make sure that that was done correctly with the shading and the shadowing. And then once I thought that was done correctly, and I really enjoyed the way that came out, I now started on the body. Again, going in with the ebony pencil, just kind of laying down rough shading, rough shadow areas, which will be kind of smoothed out later on after I lay down all the areas that I want to be laid down with the ebony pencil. Now I go in with the stump and then just start to blend them very nicely. I'm using a bigger stump here because I'm working on now on a bigger area, which is the body, the arms. I'm just kind of going in with the stump to shade and blend the shadows that I just laid down with the ebony pencil. And as you can see, once I do the blending, it's giving it a more three-dimensional feel. It's like you can almost touch him on the page, the way it's coming out, which I really appreciate. So this is a technique that I use for my line, like my drawings that are more line heavy as well, like where I do a lot of cross hatching, things like that. I also use the shade of the pencil to blend a lot of the shadows into the lights. Because I realize, like, sometimes when you do a drawing and then you ink it and then you erase the residual pencils that's left or whatever, the drawing kind of looks, I don't know, a little bland because the pencil for some reason added depth to it. And I don't understand why. But I mean, you have to make it viable for copy, so you erase the pencil. But once I decided, well, one day I'll just use the pencil that's there instead of erasing it. Just do the opposite. Just use it to blend, and I really like the effect. And I do that now for, of course, mostly just my regular drawings, not my digital drawings. Like if I was doing this for digital copy or on like a comic book page or something, I'd have to erase the pencils and then scan it to the computer and then go ahead and then do the coloring with the computer. But I do very little digital artwork like that these days because I really like the hands-on effect of art, hands-on feel of it, hands-on look of it. That sort of thing. The digital process really doesn't do it for me. I don't know, it takes away a lot of the fun for me. And this drawing hands on like this, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. So for me, definitely I'd rather go hands on over digital. If anybody was wondering. So here I start to create the atmosphere in the back and show just his power is emanating from him by using paper towel with ink dabbed on it. And I think we can pretty much call this a drawing. Thank you for watching. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe and also push the notification bell so you will know when I upload these really cool drawings. Hang on for 1 second and you'll see my blooper reels. They're really funny. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Hi everybody, welcome back again. No, that's not good. Hi everybody, DRAWninjaKC here. Today's drawing is going to be Super Saiyan. Hi everybody, this is DRAWninjaKC here coming at you again. Today we're drawing. Hi everybody, this is DRAWninjaKC. Hello everybody, this is DRAWninjaKC coming at you again. Today we're going to be drawing blah, blah. We're going to be drawing blah, blah, blah. Hey everybody, this is DRAWninjaKC here. Today we're going to be drawing